Listen, we talk a lot about fixing our careers, fixing our relationships, fixing our goals, but have you thought about fixing your relationship with you? Have you wondered, how do I heal the relationship I have with myself? Because you can't keep building on a cracked foundation, and you can't keep loving others while abandoning you. And you can't lead well if you won't be led into wholeness first. So that's why I'm inviting you to an upcoming masterclass entitled Healing You First. And I'm going to be teaching you the 5 steps on how to heal the relationship you have with yourself. And don't worry, this will not be surface, cute affirmations masterclass. This is going to be real work for the strong ones who are tired of performing peace while feeling broken inside. So if you're exhausted from being the dependable one, where nowhere is safe for you to fall apart, or if you're done measuring your worth by what you produce or how you show up for everyone else, or maybe you're tired and you're ready to finally do the work of coming home to you. This masterclass, I designed it for you. And so in the masterclass, we will be talking about why self-abandonment feels safe but costs you everything, how your past is writing your present choices, and the practical steps to start healing so you can love, lead, and live from a place that's actually whole. So if you're ready to stop hiding behind the hustle, and if you want to stop bleeding on the people you say that you love, and if you're ready to finally feel at home in your own skin, then I want you in this room. So check the show notes right now and sign up for Healing You First. Because the relationship you have with yourself, it sets the tone for every other relationship you have. So I'll see you there on purpose. Hey family, welcome to the Unmute Your Mic podcast, where we talk about healing what success didn't fix so you can live a fulfilled life, not just a functional one. And if you are new here, I am so glad you are here. And if you are returning, thank you for choosing yourself again today. So today's conversation, it is going to feel close to home for a lot of us because we are talking about saving face. So today's topic is called Why Saving Face is Not Saving You. And we're going to be talking about all the ways we polish the image while our real self is cracking underneath, about why it's killing us to keep up these appearances, and most importantly, how to stop saving face so you can start saving yourself. So let's get right into the conversation on today because it's gonna be heavy, okay? So let's start out by just being honest. We are so good at looking like we're okay. Like, I think we need to get an Oscar, us high achievers. We need an Oscar because, baby, listen, one thing we know how to do is to show up looking like we're in peace when we really are in pieces. But nobody knows it. Nobody knows it but us, okay? It's giving baby face. Nobody knows it but me. Nobody knows it but you. And we will smile when we're breaking. We'll say, I'm fine. When we are furious, we will over deliver so no one questions our place. Why do we do that? And you know what? We know that we shouldn't, but because we've learned to do it so well, it's almost like we can't stop. Because for so many of us, especially Black professionals, survival is required, or at least we believe it is. We believe that we can't afford to be messy. We can't afford to be vulnerable. And we have to be twice as good as the next person just so people will see our worth while still not honoring our values. But let's just really be honest and tell the truth. Survival strategies are not meant to be permanent lifestyles. And I want to share this. This is so not in my notes for our topic today, but it's so on point. I can recall my dad is like this history buff person. Like he always knows the history about something, child. Okay. And I typically don't or. It just depends. So one day I asked him, Daddy, why do the projects always still look like a project? Like y'all ran by the projects, aka the hood. And have you ever thought about that? Like why these projects don't ever look like they're completed? Like why the projects they never look resolved, right? And I was like, Daddy, why are the projects always looking like the projects? Like these projects been around a long time. Like why they not resolved yet? And he said, baby, because when they were created, when the idea came to create projects, the projects were actually supposed to be housing. They were only supposed to live there 18, no more than 24 months. But what happened was people got comfortable and complacent paying a lower amount of rent that they didn't save, because the goal was to make your rent cheaper so you could save money, so then you could move out of the projects. Like then you could be a completed project, right? A check mark. But what happened was people got comfortable on $50 rent. They got comfortable at a $10 lifestyle. So because that became comfortable to them, they started to waste the excess and they had nothing saved. So the reason the projects looks like a project that's not done is because, first of all, you weren't supposed to live there as long as you have. And how many of us are living in a season longer than we should have? And that's why you still look like you're undone. This is a real thing. So while you save in face, trying to, you're not saving yourself. So you looking like money, but you going home to a trailer. Okay. You looking like money, but you going home to a project that, baby, you got to have 30 bob wires and 60 locks on the door. Like, what? Most of us are living in the projects of our mind. Most of us who have struggled with this scarcity, poverty, low income, low rent mindset, you might as well go live in the projects because mentally you're there every day. Because you're trying to save face for people who don't matter. You're trying to save face for people who don't care about themselves so they could never care for you. But you looking good, but you're not living well. So that really changed my whole outlook when I finally came to that idea. I was like, why is this? So if you're listening, like, wait, what does saving face mean? Now, saving face first is about to mean don't play in my face like you don't know what it means. Here we go, because you've been doing it long enough. When you're saving face, it means you're protecting the image of you that feels acceptable. So what you're doing is you're self-preserving. You're trying to appear as if it's all together. You're driving a Cadillac, but you're driving up to a home that's a shack. That's saving face. So you're hiding these parts of you that might be rejected, ridiculed, or worse, dismissed. So you hold in your tears so no one thinks you're weak. You bite your tongue so no one calls you angry. You overcommit so no one thinks you're lazy or that you don't want to do it. But here's the question. What is that costing you? What if I told you it's costing you yourself? It's costing you. You're losing your voice to keep the peace, but you're in pieces. You're losing your boundaries to keep pleasing people who don't matter and don't care about you. You're losing your truth to keep the image of pretty. But the only thing, you're not pretty, is really pathetic. I know that hurt your feelings, but somebody got to tell you the truth. Because we can't talk about this without naming this cultural layer. Black women, let's start there. As a Black woman speaking to Black women, we have been told to be strong at all cost. Don't cry. Why are you crying? You need to get over him. Get over him by getting under another person. I mean, all of these toxic, tragic colloquials, and we have subscribed to them. That's the worst part. We've subscribed. So now it's embedded in our beliefs, which makes it embedded in our DNA. We've adopted it into our DNA, and now we move from that place. And my issue with us is that we are making decisions and choices from a hurt place and not a healed place. And so saving face ain't saving you. That's one of the reasons I left my marriage. Why I need to keep pretending I'm happy when I don't like you? Why do I need to keep pretending we got it all going on when we don't? We don't have it all going on. I'm not happy with me. I wasn't happy with you. I was tired of pretending and putting on a smile and walking in the rooms and not knowing who whispering about me. Who in the room know things about me that I don't know? Who in the room know things about my marriage that I don't know? I got sick of that. I don't live like that. I sleep well at night, not worried about nobody unhealed son playing in my face. You need to too. And I'm specifically talking to Black women right now because Black men, don't worry. I'm coming down your street and around your corner. You just wait. I'm at the stop sign. We got to stop this. Because what we tend to do as Black women, we will negotiate with things that are a true non-negotiable. Stop negotiating with things in your life that are non-negotiables. Because that's exactly why you're in the position you're in. That's why you're in the projects. Again, you might as well go live there because you mentally are there every day. This is your wake-up call. This is what your girlfriends aren't telling you. You know why? Because they go into the hood too. That's why. They don't know why you're there. They don't know why they're there. And it's this cycle where you start living in the hood for 30 years when you was only supposed to be there 18 months, a max of 2 years. You done raised 3 generations in the hood of your mind. And it's because we negotiate with our non-negotiables. What does that look like? Case in point, if you know that you are in a season of, especially for my single people, if you're in a single of abstaining from physical intimacy, because I don't know who riding in the car with you, physical intimacy, you know what that means. Then why are you going to position yourself and negotiate as if it is up for discussion when you meet a man that you're dating and that you just met? Don't position it like it's an opportunity that you can negotiate on this. No, baby. This is a non-negotiable because I don't need you I'm not going to let you lay with me, and I know you can't lead me. Stop letting people lay with you that you know can't lead you. If he can't lead you, laying with you shouldn't be an option, because all it's going to turn into is him calling me and telling me that you don't like to submit. But the truth was, you didn't trust him. You never did. You weren't about to start. So the truth is, you shouldn't allow him in a position and in a role in your heart and in your body and in your mind that, quite honestly, you weren't going to be able to come into agreement with. This is not in my notes, so I know it's for you. Because it's definitely helping me. I had to learn this the hard way. Stop giving people access to things that you have that they have not earned. And I'm not meaning that they have to perform for it. I mean, do you have total knowledge? Do you have total knowledge before you go saying yes and having cocktails and hookah? Do you have total knowledge? Because if you knew everything about that person, you would not sign up for them. But yet again, he fine. Baby, he may be fine, but he's for everybody. You want to be for everybody too? Well, then you may not want to sign up for that. You got to start valuing yourself at a different level. Because as long as you keep acting like these things are negotiable and positioning it as if it is negotiable, a man is going to out-negotiate you every time because you're not sticking to your boundaries that truly honor your values. Why? Because you think saving face is more important than being well. That's why. You want the look more than you want the peace. And that's why you're looking crazy. Okay? That's my TED Talk for you. Now let's roll down to this here man. Men, same day, you got to decide. As a black man, we tell black men to be unbreakable. They need to be a provider. They need to be stoic. They can't cry. Why you feel this way? You're not allowed to feel this way. Let me tell you something. When you silence a boy and you don't give a man, you don't get in his boy stage. In his boy stage, when you don't give him the grace and space to articulate his feelings with his mouth, he will do it with his hands. Okay? So when I see a man who is physically abusive or who is emotionally abusive or who you think is a mute, it's because in his boy season, when he was being trained by the parentals, he was never taught how to articulate using his words. He doesn't have emotional vocabulary. So when you silence him as a boy and tell him to self-abandon, self-neglect his own emotions, pretend that he is a provider and all these things, when you put these pressures on him as a boy, as a man, he's a mute. That's why you don't know anything about him. That's why when you ask him how his day is, he give you them one-word answers because he doesn't have emotional vocabulary. And on top of that, he grew up in a household where you weren't allowed to talk back. He had those silly colloquials like, don't talk back to me. Well, how you going to know what I'm thinking if I don't? That's silly. If you were from the South, especially raised in a black household, talking back was a form of disrespect. So what is talking up? Is that advocacy? We got to start teaching this mess at home, man. And the reason we look at our black homes and we see why their fathers are not in the homes and why they're in those that who are in the home, they're in the street more than they at the home because they don't have peace at the house. Home is where the heart is and their heart ain't at the house. What we are seeing is we are seeing a cycle of generation of children who are also not going to know how to lead, not know how to use their emotional vocabulary, not know how to express what they're feeling. So what will they do? They will express with their hands when they cannot express with their mouth. It's tight, but it's right today on this podcast. That's the issue. So men, you got to see yourself as value. Stop laying down with women that you don't want your daughter to be like. If you don't want your daughter, whether you have one now or not, this is called in business projections. Okay? I'll give you a quick business one-on-one. The projections show if you keep laying down with trash, all you're going to do is recycle it. So if you keep getting women that are beneath your values, who do not align with your purpose, you're going to continue to recycle that same behavior. And God forbid you mess around and make a child with her. Now, it ain't about who you marry. I know the old church folk people, it's not who you marry. That's a lie. Let me tell you what the truth is. It's who you lay down with, baby. Who you laying down with got a life sentence without parole. You can't ever break up with them because now you got a child with them. If you get married to somebody and y'all never have children, you can divorce them and never see them again. It doesn't matter. It's your choice. When you decide to make a child with a person, whether you marry them or not, they're going to be at graduation. They're going to be at birthday parties. They're going to be there when she get married, he get married. They're going to be there when they have a grandchild. They're going to be there for the first birthday. So let me tell you something. You better think about it before you be out here playing with your life. Because men, what we need in this season is for you to lead. But the issue of why we see so many men struggling with leadership is because you don't know your purpose. And when you don't know your purpose, picking a partner is hard. I remember my daddy telling me at 20 years old, and I thought this was absolutely ridiculous advice, but it so was not. He said, baby, you can get engaged, but you need to go travel and see the world. He was trying to tell me then, don't get married. And I was so literal. I'm 20 years old. I was so literal thinking, what you mean go see the world? See the world where? I wasn't around women who was just acting like Carmen Sandiego, seeing the world. I was around women who found worth in the person they were with because they were raised by a woman who was property before she was a person. So when you're property before you're a person, your value is connected to who owns you. Women I saw, I didn't see women that were people yet. They were coming into people because you got to remember, women didn't have rights for a long time. We haven't had rights for that long. So many of our mothers and grandmothers were property. They were slaves, baby. They had no name. They had no voice. Even their checking account say Mr. and Mrs. John Smith. Well, what's Mrs. Smith? She ain't even got no name anymore. John Smith. So we weren't raised by that. So I thought that was just absolutely ridiculous. But what my daddy was trying to tell me, which he didn't expound on, was you need to know who you are first. Seeing the world, he was trying to tell me you need to be exposed to more things first. To know what you really want, but most importantly, who you really are. Because until you know who you really are, you will put your selfish desires and pleasures above your purpose. And then you'll end up with a person that's going to keep you from fulfilling the reason God put you on this earth. So the math on this is purpose, person, profit. Okay? Purpose plus sign, person equals profit. Profit. That means you get a gain. Okay? So if you are negative in the purpose plus positive in the person is going to equal negative in your profits. See that math? See, this is what people aren't telling you. And none of this is in my notes. So I know for a fact it's for you. When stuff not in my notes, and this is what you get, I know it's for the person that's listening. Whether you listen this year, next year, tonight, tomorrow, it doesn't matter, baby. This for you. Got your name on it. I should just called your name out. I should have added you so you know it's real. Know that I'm talking to you. This is a real issue. And that is why we are struggling, because we are in homes where we have made men lead before they were ready. So that's what Daddy was trying to tell me. He didn't say it like that. So what did I do? He didn't give me his vulnerable story. My dad got married at 21. I got married at 20. He could have easily said, baby, you may want to know yourself first. Because I, ... But my daddy is one of those people. He's not going to give you that. He's going to give you a coloring book. He may or may not give you crayons, and he's going to say, color your own lines. Because he's from the generation where sometimes people only learn the hard way. And unfortunately, I have been that person. Unfortunately, you have been that person. That's why you're here. So when you look at the people in your life, how many of the people in your life look like the purpose you claim you have? Do they look like your values, or do they look like your trauma? Because see, that's why you're trying to save face. Because first and foremost, you're trying to make it look like they're aligned with your purpose when they're not. And everybody knows it, but you. You're not babyface. Nobody knows it. No, baby, you're the only one who doesn't know it. The rest of us can clearly see that you're walking around with mismatched socks on. Because every sock don't match. Just because both of those socks are black or white or gray don't mean they match. There are different sizes to the socks, sir, ma'am. So you walking around with shorts on and you walking around with somebody who is a crew sock and you got on an ankle sock, but because they both black, you think they go together. No, they don't. And you look silly. And this is what people aren't telling you. I'm just trying to help you stop saving face so you can start saving your life. Because you're wasting your time, and time is a non-refundable investment. The worst thing you can do is stay connected to a person that's not propelling your purpose. That's why your profits are negative. Again, this is simple math. Purpose plus person equals profit. If either one of them two is negative, purpose or person, those profits will be negative. So if you're trying to figure out why am I still in this, because unfortunately, you were taught how to survive, but you weren't taught how to thrive. And that's why you chose a person first, and then you decided to find your purpose. But see, here goes a problem with that. When you put finding a person first and you put the purpose on the back burner, when you come into the idea of your purpose, every time, most times, every time, you're with the wrong doggone person. Oh, I know, it's hurting your feelings. I'm with the right person. Girl, no, you not. No, you not. Girl, you is not with the right person. Sir, you not with the right woman. And that's exactly why you're only meeting at subpar. The reason you at 50% when you should have been at 100%, because you're not even with the right person to feel you. You pouring into a woman who's a cracked glass. She can't hold water. Every time you pour into her, she wasting on the ground and you busting your butt. And you mad at me. Why? You mad at her. Here, I pour everything I have into her. Excuse me, is she cracked or not? Did you check your glass? No, you just grabbed something real quick because you were thirsty. And now you mad that is not only is it not quenching your thirst, you got a mess to clean up with it. And sometimes that mess look like your finances. Sometimes that mess look like your family. Sometimes that mess look like your children. Now you got a mess to clean up. And one thing about God, he is graceful and he love you, but cleaning up your mess is not in his job description, period. I don't care what them people at the church told you. You better read your Bible for yourself. What mess he cleaned up? When David decided he was going to sleep with Bathsheba and go ahead and make a baby with her, you thought he cleaned that mess up? He absolutely did not. And he let that baby die. Read your Bible. God don't clean your mess up because you know right from wrong. Now, you may not have known like me at 20. I didn't know that I needed to have my purpose first and have other exposures. I could understand who I was. I didn't know that. I wouldn't explain that. But I bet you going through a divorce showed me that. I bet you 10 years in a marriage where I was unhappy showed me that. And the truth of the matter is I was unhappy with me before I met him. So being with him wasn't going to make me happy anyway. And that's when I identified that the truth of the matter is this. You have to first be happy with you. If you are a weak me, meaning W-E-A-K, if you're a weak me, being a stronger me ain't happy. You can't be no thriving weak when you weak. You're one of the negatives in the equation. I was negative in my equation. My attitude was negative. My energy was negative. My mouth was negative. Like, you got to be able to own where you were negative. And did he have his own negatives? Yes. He did. And I want you to know this. If you haven't noticed by now, I love to talk about math. Numbers don't lie. People do. That math's going to math every time. And if it don't, it don't. It's not algebra. I know some of y'all think, well, we can do 2 double negatives. No, you can't. Stop playing with me. This is exactly why you saving face and not saving yourself. This is exactly why we're having this conversation right now. Because it's that kind of mindset that keeps us in bondage and nobody's telling us the ugly truth. And then it causes us to have to save you, especially when you've been pretending all this time. The reason you feel like a fraud is because you have been a fraud to you. You ain't frauding me. You're not even frauding them people that you go to happy hour with. The reason they keep calling you to go to happy hour is because they know you're not happy and neither are they. So they're going to go to a place that's called happy hour when they're not happy at that hour to make a decision from their trauma when they get done. I know it's tight, but it's right today. I just want you free. I want you free. And I want you to be able to model authenticity in a way that it honors who God is calling you to be. So when you think, well, why do I keep performing this stuff? What is it? I'm going to give you these questions because one thing y'all know about me, if you've been here on the podcast, is a great coach always challenges. So here go your 3 questions that I want you to think about in your journal time. I want you to reflect on this stuff because this is a real thing. And if we don't get this right, we're going to continue to live life wrong. If you don't get this right, you're going to continue to get life wrong. So here are your questions. What are you trying to prove by saving face? What are you trying to prove by saving face? What are you trying to make true that ain't? For my Southerners, what are you trying to make true that's not true? And that's why you saving face. And then who taught you that telling the truth about your pain wasn't safe? Who told you that? Who was that told you what happened in this house, stay in this house? You don't need to tell people your business. You ain't got no business. That's a whole different tangent for another day. You ain't got no business. Some of y'all should have a business, but you don't have one. So what are you talking about in real life? And then the last question. What would you say if you weren't trying to manage anyone else's reactions? Ooh, child. What would you say if you weren't trying to manage anyone else's reactions? Because family, here's the truth. You weren't created to live in hiding. You weren't created to be palatable to everybody's taste buds. And you weren't created to be perfect. And it's okay to not be perfect. Because you were created to be whole, to be real, to be seen. So today, I'm inviting you to stop saving face and start saving yourself. Because it's time. It's time for you to. And if you've listened to this episode all the way through, I want to invite you. I want to offer this to you. Offer you our upcoming masterclass. You know it's time to make a difference. You know it's time for you to change. I'm not telling you something that you don't know. I'm telling you something you just been whispering to yourself. Our upcoming masterclass, I'm going to be teaching you the 5 steps on how to start healing you first. Because you have been trying to heal everybody else. But healing you first is going to heal them. When you get on a plane and they're giving those instructions and half of y'all are listening and a third of y'all is trying to, They tell you on the plane that if the plane is going down and the oxygen masks come down, even if you're with a little child, because some of y'all, especially you women, my baby come first. Well, on the plane, it says, put that mask on you first, then put it on your baby. Then put it on the disabled person you're with. Then put it on the person that's next to you. Help them when you put on yours first. Because if you put on theirs first and you're the stronger vessel out of the two of you, and what if you go down? They can't lift you up. So now they're at a larger deficit than they would have been had you healed you first. That's why this masterclass is so important. This is not a time for you to pretend that you don't have issues. It's not the time for you to act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Listen, check the show notes, reserve your virtual seat, and I'm going to be teaching you in this masterclass my 5 steps on how to help you heal the relationship you have with you first, because that is the only way you're going to see changes in your relationships. It's the only way you're going to finally feel connected to yourself. And it is the only way you're going to finally move from living a functional life to a fulfilled one. So if this episode has spoken to you in all kind of ways, I want you to make sure you hit the follow button so you do not miss next week's episode, and share this with someone you know needs permission to be real. Share this episode with them. And by all means, please leave a review. I want to hear how this episode has blessed you, how it has helped you, how it has challenged you, how it has gotten in your business. And you wasn't even ready for all of that today. I want to hear it. I want you to talk back. Because the only way I'll know how your heart is feeling is if you speak it out of your mouth. So I can't wait to see you next week. Until next time, don't forget to take care of you on purpose.